Hi guys, it's Tamara coming back at you with another video. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back this week, guys. We're going to jump in right now and start talking about the traumatic experience of being in a relationship with a toxic person. We're going to talk about that, and then the next video I'm going to talk about ways to get out of learned helplessness. So I think the obvious benefits for you in this video is that you're going to be able to kind of explore whether or not you've had a relationship like what I'm going to talk about, or you can explore the current relationship that you're in. I have a lot of clients who are struggling with toxic relationships, whether that's a toxic relationship within the family or a toxic relationship on the job. Wherever it is, it's a toxic relationship. And a lot of people have been there. I've been there. I think the most important part of getting over a toxic relationship is being able to identify what the problem is, being able to kind of step back and figure out, where do I need to be with this person, and ending the relationship. I hate to put it that way, but that's usually what happens. So we're gonna go ahead and just jump right in, okay? So I want to start by giving you guys 6 things that you would want to look for in a relationship that's toxic. Let's say, for example, if we're talking about a family relationship, let's say that in this relationship, you have always loved your cousin, right? Or you have always loved your uncle, but they don't seem to reciprocate those feelings. And when they do reciprocate, there's an obvious want around the corner, right? They always want something from you in exchange for your love for them. Okay, let's also put this in the perspective of a romantic relationship. So let's say you're married to someone who tends to use and abuse you, and yet at the same time, you still continue to love them and go along with their manipulation because you love them. So keep those 2 relationships in mind: a family relationship and a romantic relationship, most likely a marriage, okay? So the first thing that I want you to look for in this relationship that you might be questioning, is this a toxic relationship? Or maybe but the first thing I want you to look for is what we psychologists and relationship experts call love bombing. Do you know what love bombing is? Love bombing is basically the whole idea that if I shower you with love and attention and affection, and if I get your hormones stimulated by something that I might do, if I get you kind of clinging to me for more love and affection, if I can manipulate you into believing that I think you're just so wonderful, that there's nobody else in the world but you, I've got you. Right? So love bombing is the whole idea that the person, typically a sociopath or a narcissist, uses affection, compliments, lots of positive praise and reinforcement and attention. They use that, okay, as a way to manipulate you. Love bombing. So keep that in mind. Some narcissists and sociopaths are really good at love bombing when they feel you emotionally pulling away, right? When they feel that you're pulling away from the relationship because you're starting to recognize something's wrong with it. Love bombers just fill you up with lots of compliments and positive reinforcement and loving things that they say to you. And sometimes they may even hug you or kiss you or tell you that they're glad to see you, right? All of that is done, all that overwhelming affection that you might feel is typically done to keep you trapped. Love bombing. All right, the next one is gaslighting. Gaslighting is the whole idea that you make somebody question their own sanity, right? So let's say your uncle, this uncle that I used as an example earlier, let's say your uncle showers you with affection and love, and the moment you need something from him, he pulls back and says, "I'm sorry, I can't help you with that," right? Let's say you go to him and you say, "Well, I feel like there's some tension between us, and I don't know why, but I don't feel we're as close as we used to be. You would do anything for me, and all of a sudden, you don't want to do anything for me at all." Can you imagine what the uncle's going to say in response? "What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Wait a minute. No, I don't think I know what you're talking about because I just sent you a birthday card. No, wait a second. Are you trying to judge me, or are you trying to create a problem here? You know what? You're like your mom. You're like your mom, Susie, right? Because Susie does that kind of stuff. Or are you stressed? Are you tired?" Right? That's gaslighting. It's this whole tactic to make you feel like it's your fault. You're insane. You're not looking at something, right? That's the whole idea, to throw you off. The next one is labile, moods, and affect. Now, when I say affect, I'm talking about facial expressions, right? How you present visually to somebody else, right? So you've probably seen people who look depressed. You've probably seen people who look angry. That's their affect, right? How they present to the world or people outside of them. So a labile, mood, and affect means that you're constantly confused in this toxic relationship. Moods are like roller coasters, and affect is like roller coasters, right? You don't know, where this person is from one moment to the next, because they're constantly changing up on you, and their moods are so unpredictable, and you don't know what else to do but just respond to the way the person looks. It can really keep you, on a rocky road. So the next one is, so this is what I call manipulating you to manipulate others, okay? So what I mean by that is this, triangulation. I'm going to post a description of triangulation up here because I've talked about it a lot on this channel in previous videos. I'm going to link a couple of those down in the description box for you. But triangulation is basically the idea that somebody has the power to manipulate you to manipulate somebody else. So it usually includes 3 people, a victim, a persecutor, and a rescuer. You might be the innocent party, but you don't realize that when you take your business to somebody else, or you take your business to that toxic person, they're going to take your business to another toxic person, or they're going to say things to get you going so that you can respond to somebody on the outside of that toxic relationship. It's really complicated, but I think it's interesting to keep in mind. Because toxic relationships, they can really make you feel traumatized if you go through these things on a regular basis. So keep that in mind. Some toxic people manipulate you to manipulate others. It's just how they operate. The next one is excessive charm and a histrionic personality. So people who are toxic know how to pour on the charm, right? They pour on the charm to manipulate, to defeat you, to weaken you, to make you vulnerable, to cause you to, drop all your defenses, right? They pour on the charm. But then they also might have what is known as a histrionic personality. And that's a personality that's really loud and boisterous and out there and huge, right? It's a person who gets a lot of attention just by being loud and boisterous, flamboyant and obnoxious, right? So a person like this can truly traumatize you in a relationship. Why? Because let's say you've been married for 15 years and you've had to deal with that boisterous, flamboyant, out of control, aggressive personality. It really causes you to kind of like push them away and sit back in the corner and just like hope it stops, right? So that's another thing. The other thing and the final thing is intermittent charm or positive reinforcement. Okay, if you think of behaviorism, the whole idea of behaviorism is you can stop a particular behavior if you allow it to have positive or negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is taking away something aversive, and positive reinforcement is adding something to the equation. So let's say, for example, you are the wife to the toxic person in the marriage. And the only way that this toxic person knows how to keep you in that relationship stuck is by using love bombing intermittently, right? I think today I'm going to love bomb, right? Or I think today I'm going to use gaslighting. And maybe next week I'll just lay off, right? So it's intermittent charm and positive reinforcement. These are 6 behaviors, guys, that you can typically identify if you know what to look for. And I'm hoping this video can help you with that. All right, guys, thanks so much for being with me today. I look forward to talking to you about how to get out of learned helplessness. I want to give you a couple of tips on that as well. I think it's important, and a lot of you have requested that from me. So I encourage you to stay tuned. If you want to get updates about my videos, or if you want to get alerts, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on the side there. That way you'll get an alert every time I post a new video, which is Mondays and Fridays. Sometimes you'll get a bonus which is a Wednesday video. It kind of helps me explain some things without having to make the videos too long. So stay tuned for that. Those bonuses, I put them up every now and then. I also encourage you guys to hit the thumbs up button. I ask that you would do that, by the way, just for the simple fact of, number one, it tells me if I'm helping you. Number two, it tells me if you're benefiting from these videos. And number three, it makes these videos available to other people in YouTube. It pushes us up in the search results so other people can have access to the video. All right, guys, thanks so much. And I'll talk to you really soon. I'll be back with another video. Bye.